Chapter 15, First Kill. The next day, that episode of Maria's was the talk of the neighborhood. The rumor was that, after I left, Papa and Speedy had their way with Maria. I wondered if that part of the rumor was true, but it didn't matter. What mattered was what was being said about me. First, I was a coward for not shooting at the Chai West, and now I was a faggot for not having sex with Maria. I wanted to go talk to her and see how she was, but I couldn't find the courage to do so. I got the feeling that our relationship would never be the same. I couldn't hang out with the Lords, and now I was scared to go by Maria's. I would either have to stay at Hector's all the time or find somewhere else to hang out. With that in mind, I headed toward Maplewood Park to hang out with Little Man and the Latin Kings. At Maplewood Park, it seemed like they had some kind of party going on. They were drinking, smoking, and had music turned up really loud. Morena was there. She greeted me with a kiss on the cheek and took me around to meet everybody. She introduced me as a future king. We walked over to a van and went inside. Morena told me to sit down and relax. She began rolling joints. Some guy sitting on the front passenger seat came into the back, handed me a bottle of Richard's wine, and introduced himself. His name was Leo. He was a Latin king. Leo was a little taller than me and was very skinny with brown eyes and curly hair. He had an ugly scar above his right eye. Leo was about 19 years old. He was rather puny for his age. His arms were covered with tattoos, mostly homemade ones of girls' names. Leo sat next to me and began telling gang war stories. He rarely looked at me. Instead, he stared at the joints Morena was rolling, anticipating lighting up one. When Morena gave him a joint and a book of matches, Leo sighed in relief. He didn't say a word afterward. He just enjoyed the marijuana. Morena left the van and came back shortly with another girl. She was introduced as Pebbles. Pebbles was petite, with short black hair and blue eyes. She had a beautiful smile and sculptured body to go with her porcelain complexion. Pebbles sat next to me and began talking to me. I lit up a joint and gave it to her. She took a hit, held the smoke, and moved in on me as if to kiss me, but at the last second blew the smoke in my face and laughed. I was embarrassed but laughed along with her so she wouldn't notice. After a few bags of weed had been smoked and about 3 bottles of wine downed, I was acting super silly. Leo had left the van and another king called Hercules joined us. Hercules was a big muscular guy. Hercules had dirty blonde hair and blue eyes and was about 6'3" tall. Hercules didn't drink or smoke and also didn't talk much. In fact, whenever he said something, it was whispered into Morena's ear. I was acting like a clown. Pebbles, Hercules, and Morena just kept cheering me on. It was like I was on their life party. Hercules came up with the idea of going for a drive to find some vice lords. The girls quickly agreed, and so did I. As we were pulling out, someone asked Hercules where we were going. Hercules shouted back, to find out what this newcomer is all about. I sat there laughing like a fool, not realizing that the newcomer he was referring to was me. The vice lords hung out on Hoyne and Evergreen streets, not far from the Unknowns' hood. That's where we were headed. Pebbles and I sat in the rear of the van. Hercules drove, and Morena sat in the front passenger seat. Leo called Pebbles up to the front. I heard him say, "Give this to that brother so he can take care of business." Pebbles came back to where I was and handed me a sawed-off shotgun. I was scared out of my mind. I was about to be tested again. Damn, I wished I was in Puerto Rico. The van stopped a few seconds later. Hercules came to the back and asked for the shotgun. I was relieved, thinking I wasn't going to have to use it on anybody, but he had only forgotten to load it. Hercules loaded up the shotgun and demonstrated how to use it. "See, my brother, you pull the trigger, then pump it. Pull the trigger again, then pump it again until it's empty," Hercules instructed me. Shotgun shells flew out of the top of the gun every time he pumped it. He never actually pulled the trigger. Hercules reloaded it, gave it to me, and again we were on our way. Pebbles lit up a joint and sat next to me. She gave me the joint and started kissing my neck and whispering about what she would do to me if I shot a vice lord for her. I stared at the shotgun, not knowing what to do. Pebbles took it out of my hands, put it under a blanket, then kissed me. I was tongue kissing her and filling up her body when Morena came back and told us that we had arrived at our destination. She advised me to get ready, then went back into the front. Pebbles looked out the window and pointed out the vice lords for me. She grabbed my groin, squeezed gently, kissed me, and told me that the sooner I got it over with, the quicker I could have her. I made up my mind right then and there to go ahead with the whole thing. What the hell, it was only some ninjas. Who would care anyway, I rationalized. I told Hercules to go around once again. I lit up a joint, drank half a bottle of wine as if it were water, and grabbed the shotgun. Morena looked back and whispered for me to get ready. I pumped the shotgun and moved to the side door of the van. Pebbles was looking out the window and instructed me as to what corner the vice lords were standing on. Suddenly the van stopped and Hercules yelled, "Now!" I jumped out and ran toward the northwestern corner and opened fire. I did just as Hercules had instructed, pump and shoot, pump and shoot. People were screaming and running all over the place. I ran up on the curb and saw a couple of people pleading for mercy as they bled to death. Some guy came running out from the back of a car. I reacted by turning toward him and pulling the trigger. The shots hit him in the back and head. He fell forward and lay there motionless. I ran back inside the van and slammed the door. We flew out of there and back to Maplewood Park. Inside the van, I felt an adrenaline rush as if I had just done something good. Pebbles hugged and kissed me and told me how proud she was of what I had just done. At Maplewood Park, Hercules drove the van directly into a garage and then took the shotgun to get rid of it. I lay on the floor of the van and smoked a joint with Pebbles. For some reason, the incident did not affect me the same way the one at Shy West had. I felt relaxed and proud of myself. Maybe it was the weed or the wine, or maybe it was being with Pebbles. I really didn't know what the difference was, and I didn't care. What was important was that I had proved myself. Pebbles never kept her promise to make love to me. She never had any intentions of doing so. It was all Morena's way of getting me really pumped. It worked. I found myself bragging half the night like an idiot about what I did. It's only ninjas, I reassured myself before committing the crime. Only ninjas. I wondered how many times the Gaylords rationalized the same manner, killing a Puerto Rican. I'm sure the Gaylords said it's only a spit after slaughtering a Puerto Rican. It's that racial blindness we all live with. Pebbles offered sex for spilled blood in the anticipation. Pebbles offered sex for spilled blood in anticipation of her passion became the basis of my courage. It was the first time I saw blood spill because of my actions. I was coming out, evidence that could be and was as cold-blooded as anyone else. It was also the beginning of my tenure as a gangbanger. There was no turning back. I woke up with a giant headache. I turned to see Pebbles lying next to me and everything started coming back to me. I woke Pebbles up and just watched her as she stretched. I tried to kiss her, but she pushed me away. She said that if her boyfriend ever found out we were together, he would kill me. Pebbles took me to her sister's apartment where we washed up and had breakfast. I talked to Pebbles and found out that her real name was Josephine. She was 18 and had just graduated from Orr High School. She told me that she used to be a cheerleader. She definitely had the body for it. I didn't understand why she was into gangbanging. We walked to Maplewood Park and played on the swings like two little kids. In fact, we were two little kids trying so hard to be grown up. Some kings showed up on bikes and began selling weed. I asked one of them to lend me his bike so I could go home. He asked if I was the little brother who went on that mission with Hercules the night before. I told him I was. The guy got off the bike, shook my hand, gave me the bike and a nickel bag of weed, and said that I was welcome there anytime. I got on the bike and started to leave. Amor de rey. King Love, yelled the guy as I rode away.